Fashion is everywhere. It's a way to express ourselves. It's a way to show off our personalities. It's a way to show how much money we've got. Or to show how creative we can be. It's heavily influenced through sport, and it's heavily influenced through music. Hi, what's up YouTube? It's Dom here from Payday Pickups and I'm back with another video. I hope you lot enjoyed that intro. I thought I'd try something a little bit different. Today's video, as you can see from the title, we are going to be comparing the American fashion versus the UK fashion. So if you're new to my channel and you didn't know already, I am a fashion YouTuber from the UK, so I know quite a bit about the UK fashion scene. Whereas now I'm currently doing a study year abroad. I'm living in Philadelphia. I think it's my 8th month here now, so I've kind of incorporated and noticed a lot about the US fashion. So for today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the American fashion versus the UK fashion, showcasing a load of the similarities as well as a load of differences. But before we jump into the video, if you enjoyed that intro, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. But anyways, let's jump into it. So the first category we're going to talk about, and you will see these worldwide, it is hypebeasts. You know what hypebeasts are? Hypebeasts are people who like to wear expensive and the most items that are on trend and items that people can't really get. So the brands you'll probably see, you'll see Supreme, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Off-White, Palace, all basically hype stuff. So they want to be wearing the most recent trainer, Yeezys for example, and you'll see loads of these. And a prime example of how similar they are with us in the UK and the US is Ari Petru and let's say Blazonry or Blake Linda. The only real difference I'd really say is the shoes that are more popular in the UK, I'd say, are Yeezys, whereas in the US it is definitely Jordans. Jordans aren't as big in the UK because basketball isn't as big, so people prefer wearing high top shoes, I'd say, in the US a lot more. So you'll see Jordans so much more within the US in comparison to the UK. For example, when the Off-White shoes came out, the Off-White 10, these shoes were so hyped for all hype beasts out there. The most popular one in the UK, I'd say it was the Prestos, whereas in the US it was the Off-White ones. So now we're moving on to the second category, and this is one of the differences, and this is a chav. For your UK viewers, you should know what a chav is, and for all you in the US, you probably won't know what they are. Chav basically stands for council house and violence, and what a chav basically is, it is like usually a youth, someone who pretty much doesn't care about too much. They like getting in trouble, going on the streets, getting in trouble with the police, etc. Typical outfit you'll see them wearing, you'll see these everywhere, the Air Max 95s, or as in the UK we call them 110s because they cost £110. The big stomper shoes, usually always all black, so you'll see any type of Air Max shoes, TNs also. And then over the top they like to wear like hiking gear, so you'll see lots of stuff like North Face, Berghaus, you'll see Under Armour, Rab, all these brands. And if you've never seen or heard about a chav before, here is a prime example, like this video right here.
It's me, Franz! I'm fucking filming! Whoever's put shit through my letterbox, I'm gonna smash your head in! You fucking dick! We'll find out who you are, I'm gonna tie your dad up and we're gonna fucking bomb him! That's it! You're fucked it! I'm gonna chop your mum's ears off with a butter knife and I'm gonna cram them up your dad's ass! You son of a bitch! Ah!
Chavs also like to get in trouble a lot. They like to smoke weed. It's something they do, that hang out on the streets. And I'll show you this video right here.
Kick it, Kev. Got on the bus with me, they save us. Smoked the reefer in the corner. Laid low, did a grand theft auto.
But overall, chavs is definitely a very British thing. I've not seen anything like that in the US. You rarely see people dressed in full like black tracksuits wearing North Face. I mean, I don't even see anyone here wearing like Berghaus or Rab. You'll see the North Face puffer every once in a while, but North Face puffers still fit in with the streetwear aesthetic because they've had the collaborations with Supreme. But chavs is definitely something you will see when you go over to the UK for all you US viewers. So the third type of style we're going to talk about, this is another different, something I've seen a lot in the US which I've pretty much never seen within the UK, and this is kind of the trucker boy slash redneck fashion. The US, you'll probably seen this a lot, but if you're from the UK you probably would have never seen this, And a prime example, a song that's been very on trend, Little Nas, and I'll show you this video clip right now.
Till I can't no more. I got the horses in the bag.
So basically what a trucker boy / redneck is they wear a lot of brands like Carhartt workers wear. For the feet, they usually wear a pair of either leather boots or a pair of Timberlands. And then on the bottoms, you'll see these everywhere. It's the light wash, dad wash, straight cut or like boot cut jeans, which go over the top of the boots, either in a light blue wash or kind of like the Carhartt kind of beigey wash. And over the top of that, they'll either wear like a vest or a plain white t-shirt, which you usually don't really see, and then over the top they'll have a hoodie. It'll be like a really baggy hoodie, one of the Carhartt beige like workers wear jackets, like the very heavyweight wide ones, or they'll be wearing a flannel. Then usually they will have a beard. Like, I mean, I've seen so many of these people in the US with a beard. And then always, last but not least, they'll be wearing a trucker cap. If you don't know what a trucker cap is, it's where it has like the netting at the back and then it has like the kind of foamy kind of front. Very typical thing I see in the US a lot. And Carhartt is a US brand, that's maybe why it's a lot more prevalent in the US. But this style is just something you don't really see in the UK. You don't really see like baggy workwear clothes like that, but something I've just seen in the US. I mean, I love Carhartt, but I'm not a huge fan of like the trucker boy / redneck style. So the fourth style I want to talk about, and moving on to another difference. This is something, once again, you'll see lots in the UK, mainly in the north side of the UK. I've not seen any of this in the US, but it is the fuckboy / pretty boy style. The US, you might know about this as well from TV shows such as Love Island, Geordie Shore. And what this style basically consists of, so this style is basically the lads, the guys who like going out and just basically pulling any girl impossible, anything with a pulse. And basically the style consists of absolute spray on skinny jeans, literally like men's leggings, tight as fuck. Usually they can consist of some distressing. Then on the feet, it's usually any like high-end designer shoes, so it could be like Yeezys, Alexander McQueen's, Balenciagas, Givenchy shoes. And then on the top, it is just any plain, simple t-shirt with a logo. Has to be pretty tight fit. And some prime examples of these uncreative brands, we have the Hera London. We have 11 Degrees, right? That is a shocking name. We have Gym King. And as you've seen from these photos, they are pretty much just a replica of one another with just their logo or their name printed on a plain t-shirt. Not gonna lie, I now hate this fashion sense, but in the past, I actually was once a person who dressed like this. I'm gonna roll a clip from my very first YouTube video. Like literally, what the fuck was I wearing? They are literally a pair of leggings. And this is something completely different to the US, because in the US they wear a lot baggier, straighter clothing. And this is something which I think also is heavily influenced through sport. Whereas football players, they like to wear kind of tighter clothes. For example, like the Adidas and Nike Tech pants, they're like slim fit pants. Whereas like American football players and basketball players, they like to wear slacks, which is kind of like baggier trousers. So that's why I think in the US there's much more baggy clothes, whereas in the UK there's a lot more tighter clothes. So the next category we're going to talk about is vintage clothing. So this is my main aesthetic. If you see from my Instagram, majority of my outfits and fits are heavily influenced around vintage clothing. So from the UK and the US, there are a lot of similarities as well as a lot of differences. The similarities are the main brands. For example, what I'm wearing right here, vintage Tommy Hilfiger, vintage Ralph Lauren, Polo Sport, Nausicaa, Champion. These are all heavily in the US as well as the UK. There's actually a few differences. Within the US, a huge difference is they love their vintage band t-shirts. People love to rock single stitch vintage band t-shirts, whether it be like Metallica or there'd be like a rapper like Nas t-shirt or a Tupac t-shirt. Whereas in the UK, these vintage rap tees are something which you rarely see, and if you do, it's usually like a reprinted one from like H&M. And then another thing which is also big here, which I really like, it is the vintage NASCAR t-shirts. They got a really sick prints, very colourful. Obviously not too big in the UK because we don't really have NASCAR. And then the last t-shirt, it is the vintage cigarette t-shirts. You may have seen it on my Instagram, a photo like this. I'm in love with the vintage Marlboro stuff. And you can probably see from my bag, I've got a vintage Marlboro bag right there. And the vintage camel t-shirts. This is something which is kind of like growing a bit in the UK, but it's very big and prominent within the US. And then another style you see from vintage clothing, which is bigger in the US, is they like to wear like a long sleeve white t-shirt as an underlayer, and then they wear like a baggy vintage black t-shirt over the top. I really like this style. It's something a bit different. It's not that big in the UK, but it's definitely grown a lot more in the UK. And then something you'll see in the UK, not as much in the US, is baggy sweatshirts. Like in the north, my university, Leeds, everyone loves to just wear a baggy, comfy, oversized vintage sweatshirt, sportswear sweatshirt usually. The other brands which you see lots in the UK, which you don't see much in the US because these are European brands, is stuff like Umbro, Fila, Reebok, and then even Adidas. To be honest, there's a lot of Adidas like equipment sweatshirts, etc. And if you go to the north in the UK, you'll see lots of vintage baggy sweatshirts. So the next category I want to talk about is DIYs. I'd say DIY and creative fashion is a lot bigger within the US in comparison to the UK, and I think this is mainly due to like the rap culture. The hip hop culture is huge within the US, and rappers are always trying to look different and stand out. For example, you see people like 6ix9ine, mate, you got like coloured teeth, coloured hair, so they always want to stand out. So there's a load of DIYs, like people love like paint splattered denim, their own distressed denim. You'll see loads of custom shoes here, like people love to customize their Air Force Ones, and Air Forces in the US are probably the most common shoe you're going to see everywhere. And then stuff like custom denim jackets, custom jewelry, people like getting custom iced out stuff. People in the US just like to, I think, flex more than people in the UK. I know people in the UK like hypebeasts love to flex, but flexing, it is huge within the US. So the next category I want to talk about is like the classy menswear. It comes around the fall/winter time within the UK. This is something I see loads in the UK and I haven't really seen it in the US at all. People like to wear kind of like smarter menswear stuff. For example, coats like overcoats, trench coats, like pea coats, like the double-breasted waistcoats, etc. And they'll wear stuff like scarves, they'll wear Chelsea boots or like leather boots, fitted men's jeans which go over the boots, and then we'll wear stuff like turtlenecks and knitwear. I may be being biased because I live in Philadelphia and only go to pretty much Philadelphia and New York. And this kind of classy menswear style I've not seen a lot within the US. In the US, people like to wear like more streetwear stuff when it comes to smart. So if they're wearing an overcoat, they'd like to mix it up with a hoodie, make it more streetwear, and then they wear like Jordans instead of going for like the full smart menswear. Some brands which you'll see a lot in the UK are stuff like Ralph Lauren, COS, Uniqlo, Reiss, Calvin Klein, All Saints. These are huge brands which I see a lot of in the UK when it comes to winter time. Whereas in the US, I feel like the style doesn't change too much. People tend to stick to their streetwear. They kind of tend to mix smart with streetwear instead of just going for completely smart. I say this style aesthetic is heavily influenced once again by TV. For example, TV shows such as Made in Chelsea and The Only Way is Essex. Overall, I hope you lot enjoyed this video. Let me know if I've missed anything out, any similarities or difference. I'm also going to leave a poll as well of which you think's the better, UK fashion or the US fashion. If you enjoyed this video too, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also to give that thumbs up button. It really goes a long way. Let me know in the comment section down below as well if you'd love me to go out in public and ask if they prefer the UK fashion or the US fashion. But I really enjoyed this video, and if you have the time, be sure to go check out the rest of my videos. I do loads of men's fashion, I do how-to styles, I do trip to the thrifts, I do shoe reviews, I do loads of videos all based around men's fashion, as well as videos on how to make money. But overall, have a nice day, and I will see you lot in the next one.